All right, here we are. Another week of Trashcast. I'm the host, Mathias, and again, joined with a new guest and the same old boy.
So John is here once again.
I'm the new guy. I'm Greg.
Yes. So, welcome to the show, Greg. Glad that you could make it. As for Travis, he unfortunately had work, so he couldn't make it today. But hopefully, next time he'll be. So, Greg, been doing anything hobby-wise?
Just painting big monsters, working on some bases for the big monsters, and painting a bunch of chaos spawn.
When you say big monsters, what big monsters are we talking about?
Most everything's done besides Mortarion. I had a bunch of exalted demons I was painting up. The Keeper, the Bloodthirster, Magnus, Mortarion. I think that's all of them.
Yeah, on a earlier podcast when I mentioned that I fought the Godzilla army, this is the guy who I fought.
Ooh.
So, it was it's not fun.
Or was it?
Well, it was fun for one. Let's put it that way. What about you, John? You doing anything hobby-wise?
Working on my Dark Angels. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the Necron hype later with the new reveals, but that army is done for now until new stuff comes out. So I'm just kind of working on my Primaris Dark Angels. And pretty exciting. The Black Book for Horus Heresy order is coming in tomorrow, so it's gonna give me some modeling inspiration for sure. So pretty excited about that.
I envy you guys. I unfortunately had a lot of work that I had to do over my weekend and week, and still currently doing, so I couldn't do any hobbying. It's the price of being an adult, right?
Yep.
Gotta get the work done in order to play with my plastic crack.
That's fair.
You guys want to just jump into the next news story here? I mean, we got a lot to cover.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's start off simple, and we'll just do the what is this? Do the right one? It should be next week's event or coming up. So it looks like we're finally getting the last two teams of Beastgrave, the Daughters of King and Orcs.
Oh, we got that. I think this is the multiplayer expansion.
This one,
Yeah.
the Arena of Death. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. We'll see how that plays out, right? Is it just one model from each faction?
Yeah, it's
Basically
weird.
4 players.
You command one model, so that's interesting how that turns out. Because Underworld has always been like about team synergies and like playing your cards. So with your your group of dudes, so it's gonna be interesting how that rolls.
I'm interesting to see how they turn it. Will it be popular, or will it just be that, little side expansion that a niche amount of players play?
I'm leaning towards the latter, but we'll see.
Let's see.
Yeah.
We got some Lord of the Rings. Meh.
It looks like this is a campaign book where you could
Well, I
do
see
the
they
fellowship
brought back
quest.
the Mines of Moria starter
Yeah.
set pieces.
Yeah.
Still have all that.
I mean, this is cool for Lord of the Rings players. I kind of sort of play Lord of the Rings. I have my Gondor for. I know, Matt, you have Easterling, so. But
Yeah.
I mean, this game is not dead, so this is just showing that this game is still alive for Lord of the Rings fans. So.
But they gotta make sure that they still own the rights to Lord of the Rings, you know? Gotta
That's
produce
true.
some new stuff every once in a while.
That's true.
On from there, we got the female Catachan warrior. Start picking up a Sergeant Ripper Jackson. It's a nice model.
Yeah.
Makes me want to rip the arms off my guardsmen and give them the big biceps, and then just start running real Catachans.
Oh dang! Get that strength 4, right?
Yup.
Start lifting the bars. Necromunda wise, looks like we got law-abiding gang, as the description calls it. It's from Forge World.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting actually because I do have a Paladin Enforcers gang, so probably gonna pick this up just to have. So it's kind of cool. I like it.
Just to have, you wouldn't just use.
The thing is, like, Paladinites are very expensive as it is, so I'm not sure if I can fit her in missions, but or have the credits to fit her in. But I'm sure she'll have some cool rules
Well,
to
I'm
make
sure
it
she'll have a
worthwhile.
blinding with that flashlight.
Oh, you bet. The mini lasgun.
Uh,
Actually, that's a lie. Lasguns actually do stuff in this game.
well, when it's always against weak humans, it always does something.
You bet.
So we got a rogue doctor, some doctors. It looks like as well. Are there rules for doctors?
Yeah, in Necromunda, there's this group of I guess characters you can hire called hangers on. So they represent like auxiliary support for your gang, like the rogue doctor, which functions as a medic, helps you with injury rolls. There's the gang lookout. I believe he lets you gives you bonuses to missions you're about to play. Like I think you could choose attacker, defender, etc. You get some bonuses. And there's stuff like you can get a chef, you can get like an ammunition guy. So this is just releasing new models for those roles, which is cool. I mean, it's nice to have these models.
And could always have models that can be represented in game, right?
Yeah.
Gone are those days of printing something and never making a model of it.
Yeah, right. And it's funny too because the hangers on, if one of your territories gets attacked, there's a chance that they happen to be there and they become part of your gang. And if they die, then you lose that bonus permanently until you hire a new one, which is kind of cool. So
Interesting. And then lastly, got some new books. New books coming out from Black Library. Got the Agnes the Red special
Yeah,
edition book.
Siege of Terra. If you guys haven't read that series yet, it is 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Great series.
Now we can have a whole discussion on the Black Library Horse Heresy series.
Yeah, all
Cobweb that is.
all 30,000 books.
And it's only been going for like what, 20 years.
Yeah, no big deal.
How hard could it be to follow?
Oh, pretty simple, man. Just like, if you read like a book every half a day or like 2 books a day, you'll catch up.
You need to spend a week or two researching which ones to read in specific order, though.
That's true. It's another week of research.
The whole system into itself. The whole books. Crazy. And then you got the good old. So you got the last chances of Armageddon Saint, and another Necromunda book, Uprising. That's pretty much it for what's coming out this week. Not kind of meh on everything. Nothing too exciting that catches my eyes.
Yeah, same.
I mean, maybe the Catachan, but I mean that's only because that will be what, a limited release, right?
Yeah. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, you'll always find it on eBay.
I'm sure.
If we got nothing to say more, let's go on to the next thing. So there was a tournament that happened. I believe it was called the Invasion Tournament. So, surprisingly, Space Marines did not win this one.
Whoa.
They weren't even in the top 3.
Whoa.
I'm shocked. I figured they would be. But then again, the new book and rules and weapon changes haven't come out yet, so we'll probably still have to wait.
I think it's still really new, so it's really hard to base some of this stuff. Like when I play with one of my Space Marine friends, it feels like he's at a disadvantage because he's playing Space Marines, which when you look at the rules, it's not. I mean, he's not a bad player or anything, but I feel like they feel hamstrung sometimes, depending on what's going on. But the new edition, new rule, Because by far, when you look at the rules and stuff, they seem very good. But I'm not sure if it's the missions they're not slotting in well.
Well, I mean, we'll have to wait and see when. I mean, we're gonna go over the Codex reveal and the new weapon changes, which I think will greatly improve them. But I want to start off with the third place winner, or yeah, I guess winner is a choice of word. This is Eric Kill, who got third place with Mechanicus. Greg, 'cause I know you are big into Mechanicus. What do you read off this list for us?
I've never been a big fan of the Breachers, but I know exactly what's going on here. Basically, what is it? He's taking a custom data, custom forge world, which is giving his guys 5s and 6s on arc weapons. So that's what, 5, 10, 15,
Yeah, it's
25
roll of a 5
Breachers
or a
with
6, give
exploding
him
5s and
additional hit.
6s. Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's crazy.
And they're tough and they're hard to move. They get -2 if you got the new AdMech Warlord traits, which let you rotate through 3 things whenever you want, which is really good. Which the Necrons look like they're getting now too, which is really cool addition because with how you have to lock everything in pre-game, having Warlord traits that give you different abilities throughout the game is really nice and has a lot of flexibility to it. But basically, he's just going to put preachers on objectives, and then he's just going to whittle you down.
Well,
I do like the
Breachers.
Raiders. In my opinion, I'd add more Raiders. The Serbian Raiders, I think like 10 would be great. 2 units of 5 because it just screens better, but I don't think they work nearly as well with the Breachers. If you're going Breachers, you're going as many Breachers as possible, pretty much. Raiders are a really clutch unit for just stopping charges or being really annoying, really bad. And then robots just got to pick whatever up. They just kind of point at something and they pick it up. And then you also have the Icarus arrays, which are great at shooting anything with flying. They're also really good at just shooting land things. Sure, you're -1 to hit, but they still do a lot of damage, especially with the calls rerolls. I like it.
Yeah, well, I remember fighting your list, and those Doom Crawlers can be very shooty. You never ran any of the Breachers on me.
I've never been a big fan. I don't actually own that many Breachers. I own, I think, 6 in total, and that was for 7th edition when you needed 2 units for War Convocation.
Well, I didn't realize they were troop choices.
Yeah, they're troops. They're really good. And they have big base sizes. So like a 5 of them takes up a really big chunk. Like you can't touch the objective if you put 5 of them on there. I don't think there's an easy way you can get there.
Yeah, for those that don't know what the Breachers are, they're basically the human torso upper half with the tread bottom. Tank tread bottoms. The best way to describe them. But,
and they're not vehicles, they're infantry, so they can go, bust through runes and stuff.
Yep. These guys were very popular back in 7th edition when Grab was big.
Yep.
So overall, you think this is a pretty solid list?
Yeah, I think it's definitely catered. I mean, there's lots of people. There's the 2 styles. There's the people who are just like, I have 100 breachers, I'm going to put them on the table, and you're just going to have to try to kill, 100 breachers. Then there's the other ones that are a little bit more crafty, which run higher raiders, and then a handful, the big clump of the chicken walkers with the auto cannons, which are really ridiculous too. I like the flyer. The flyers are great. They're terribly annoying because they disable auras, right? So if there's a apothecary, let's say, or like a chief apothecary for giving someone 5 up feeling of pain, you just fly your plane over there, you turn that off, and then you just shoot at whatever would have had the 5 up feeling of pain. It doesn't have it anymore. It's pretty good. It also
I didn't realize the plane did that.
The plane does that. It also has tremor shells on it too. Stratagems, of course, on those. You turn off the aura with the stratagem, you turn off and then you have the tremor shells off a stratagem too.
That
Plus the
annoying.
mortal wounds and 2 pivots while moving. Those planes are pretty nasty.
Got that Eldar technology.
By now.
Alright, well, speaking of Eldar, in second place, Got how do I? It's Rasmus Vanlin Fredrickson. Harlequins came in second place. Unfortunately, Spiky Bits, where I got these lists from, didn't tell us how many points everyone got off this, so I don't know how well they scored, but this guy got second place. And I can talk about this one. So, one with the Shadow Seer as his warlord. And I had to do a little bit of research because I haven't really touched my Harlequins in a while. But he went with the Shadow Stone Relic, which basically gives him +3 to his aura abilities and psychic powers. So his little Twilight Pathways, which is basically a what's that? That that Space Marine
Warp
one?
time.
Yeah, warp time. Basically gives it a 6 inches, so he can be a little further back. Does that ability? Shards of Light is basically just a smite, with the added effect of being -1 to their opponent's leadership. He also, his mask or chapter, that's how you guys want to reference it, is basically when he charges, he gets the +1 to his attack characteristics. So all those Harlequins and all those jet bikes he's got, that's dealing at least 4 attacks base. He's dishing out a lot of attacks here. I also found it interesting that he went all fusion pistols on all his troop units. Which, I mean, makes sense. It's just very expensive. And in very short range, because I believe fusion pistol is 6-inch range. Which doesn't matter if you can get them into combat, because as long as they're still in combat, they can shoot that 1-inch fusion pistol right into combat and kill that way, because Harlequin blades are pretty meh. Don't really do anything other than be a cheap close combat attack. Other interesting notes, he went with Yakarn. It's the Yanari god. I'm glad that model's getting used because I think it's a cool model. But really didn't see much play until the later half, to like the very end stages of 8th edition, where it started seeing a little bit more play. And then of course Skyweavers, the jet bikes here. He's got 15 Skyweavers with Haywire cannons. I mean, that's basically how I used to run mine with my Dark Eldar. Easy vehicle killers right there, since it's D6 damage, D6 shots. Sorry, you're gonna be destroying a lot of vehicles, which I assume this edition will be very vehicle heavy. Again, still pretty early since no one has their book, but it's what it's shaping up to be. And then he's got the typical Star Weavers. Didn't go haywire on them, just went shuriken cannon, so which is a solid choice against infantry, especially when you roll a 6 with shuriken weapons. You get that -3 AP on them. Their strength 5 as well, so especially with the new Gravis Marines, it's still 4 ups to wound. All in all, I didn't even talk about the Death Jesters. Death Jesters gave them all different pivotals, and gave one of the Death Jesters a relic. Which, interesting. Give him the I never pronounced the Laughing God's name here. Chedrog's Lament, which basically before selecting a target with the attacks, if the model is slain, he can do an additional D3 mortal wounds and subtract 2 leadership from whatever target he's shooting at. So you pair that up with Shards of Light, that's a -3 leadership. Plus the fact that you got a lot of damage you're doing there with the additional D3 mortal wounds. I don't know how well it would work against a Space Marines. Actually, you know what? That's 3 damage. Never mind. If you can get that single shot off. All in all, I think it's a pretty solid list. Death Jesters are always snipers, so just gotta be careful with them, especially with the new character rules. Obviously, you want to get those bikes into close combat since you give them Zephyr Glaives. +1 attack will mean they have 4 attacks each, so 20 attacks per squad, and they're fast. But other than that, we got one more list. I think I didn't type his name right, but Verlo did Chaos Demons, specifically Slaanesh Mono. And I would like to turn this over to Greg, since I think he knows more about the Slaanesh Demons more than me.
I think Slaanesh is awesome. I think pure Slaanesh is actually pretty good because it's really, if you go, you can go first, right? And now you have 40 or 50 Demonettes raising banners and moving up. You also have like a bunch of keepers, which are a problem. They're really fast. You can end up just overwhelming the board for 3 turns, and by that time, maybe you'll only have a couple models left by the time the end of the game comes around. But you don't really want to get close to any of those things because they're just you can't go near anything. It's the same kind of theme as the big monster list. It's like you just put a monster on an objective and they're not going to take it from you for 2 or 3 turns, right? So Slaanesh Demons does kind of the same thing. I really want to add a Celeste to my list and cut the Mortarion up, to be honest, because Celeste is a monster. What he gets to do is he attacks once, right? Once he's done with that combat, he then gets to attack with his other weapon, make another pile, and swing with that weapon. It's pretty good because it's, I might be wrong, it's either two or 3 attacks per attack. So he's getting an extra 18 attacks with his whip. So he walk into, an orc truck, blow it up with his anti-vehicle, and then just pick up the rest of the orcs with his 18 extra attacks. Celeste is quite a monster. He's also under the wound cap, so he can be screened by the Keeper of Secrets and other stuff like that.
Wait, he's got like 7 wounds?
8 wounds, if I recall correctly. He's basically a demon prince without wings. The Contorted Epitome, I'm sure everyone's familiar with that one. Can't Fall Back. I use that one a lot in 8th edition. It's still a great model. I haven't seen it as much in 9th edition, but I don't know the reasoning behind it, really. I like it. I still think it's good. I think the fact that you can't fall back is terribly annoying, especially because it's an aura around the model, so that model doesn't actually have to be in combat with anything. It just has to be near it, so it could be standing next to your keeper or a couple of Daemonettes who are in combat with 2 things, and then everything's just kind of stuck there. I would have to double check that one. I wanted to say it was 9 inches. I'd have to actually grab the book from downstairs.
That's
annoying. A large. I could pull it up.
That's fine. That's just really annoying.
Daemonettes are good. They're fast. They're great. I enjoy them. I want to paint some up to use more Daemonettes. They do decent damage. They're not going to, they're more there, I think, to probably raise banners and hold objectives and stuff, or tie stuff up in combat. Fiends of Slaanesh move way fast. I want to say it's like upwards of 18 inches. So they can be anywhere where they want. I'd have to double check that one too, because I feel like they move 14 and then the advance puts them up to the 18. But basically, they just run everywhere, and then it's like, what are you going to kill? You don't really have good targets, You're probably going to try to kill the keepers. The keepers are fairly durable because they have, I think one of them had the shield, if I recall correctly, or no, they both had hands. Which means now when they're killing stuff in combat, they're healing wounds. It's pretty good. They're pretty durable. I like the list. I enjoy Slaanesh Demons. I want more.
Oh, I know Slaanesh likes it when you say stuff like that. Dirty, dirty god. So overall, these lists, you think they're extremely good, powerful, could be tweaked, could be better, could be no changes? question to everyone.
I mean, they're not Space Marines or Necrons, so I have no input.
Fair enough.
I like the demon one. I like the Slash Demons. I feel like it'd be nice to have a third keeper in there, but you can't have everything, you know. And Celeste kind of takes the spot of the third keeper. Having the, 50 daemonettes, I think, might be more valuable than a third keeper.
Well, throw a lot of dice at something and something will die.
Yep.
That's how I play my game. Just throw lots of dice at it. Eventually, it'll go down.
Yep.
Well, then, I just wanted to quickly go over that. Take a look at those top tournament lists, seeing how ninth is still, I don't want to say relatively new, but, the fact that no one has a book yet. Still in the early stages of testing all this. But
I kind of laughed when I saw Slanesh got first place because if you guys don't follow Age of Sigmar competitive, Slanesh was like #1 for more than a year in Age of Sigmar. So I was like, oh, here we go. Slanesh is taking over 40k now.
I think they have really advantageous stuff because they just go out and just stand places. They're really fast and you don't really want to get close to them. So then you're forced to shoot them. And if you're forced to shoot them for 2 or 3 turns, the game's over, right?
Right, because you're not racking up those mid objective points or mid objective points.
But that's what Matt learned the other day when he was just like, Mortarian's just standing there. I can't take that objective. I can't shoot him off of it because I have to kill other stuff. I guess I'm just going to sit there and watch.
Well, I know best not to mess with Mortarian. He's a combat master compared to Magnus. That's why I could take on Magnus. Magnus isn't gonna be one-shotting a Talos like Morty could. But okay, let's move on to the next story here before we get to the big story. This is the weapons update. The weapons and Wargear update. A lot of this stuff we already knew. But now it's official and all. So, the Flamer, we already knew it's going to get up to 4 inches. So now it's 12 inches. The Flamestorm Gauntlet, same deal. They give us little winners here. So the good thing about them doing this is saying that this update will come out when the Space Marine book comes out. So all the Xenos players that aren't getting any love will at least be getting their weapons updated. At least, and the equivalents. So hopefully, this is a huge buff to people.
So that means we have 12-inch Plague Spitters and we have a 12-inch Foul Blight Spawn now?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Does it say that?
That's what I wasn't sure about because they're talking about specifically like Flamers and stuff. They didn't flag the Death Guard stuff, right? But
well, they said anything that's equivalent.
Okay.
But
because when
who
you
knows
said
what
Xenos,
they mean by
I don't
equivalent?
Yeah, because the Eldar has the Flamers and stuff too, but they're not specifically Flamers. So, or they're not a Flamer. It's whatever the Eldar thing is, D-Scythe or whatever.
Yeah. The I can't remember. Combi Flamers, same category as Flamers. Hand Flamers. Your Gene Stealer Cult at Rock, and how many Flamers did you use against poor Raoul?
I don't know, probably like 19 or something, whatever fit.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're 19 Hand Flamers going up to 12 inches.
You're spawning 3 inches away though, so the extra 3 inches doesn't make that much of a difference if you're already 3 inches away.
Well, now you have range at least.
And Gene Stealer Cults probably cost them 2 CP rather than Greynex cost 1,
Well, hopefully they'll get updated. Heavy Flamer, nothing to look there. Multi-Melta. So, this, I believe, was a change, right? This pretty much did only when you're within half range, where I believe the ATVs were stating that was an automatic +2, right? So now this just verifies that now you have to be within half range to get the +2 damage instead of it just automatic +2. At least that's what I hope.
I would hope that too. I like the change though because it always feels bad when you fire your melty. You're like, I did hit with it finally, and I did 1 damage. All right.
Yeah.
It's the luck, man. It's the luck. Kami Melta, same deal. I mean, a lot of it's just repeating. A lot of the stuff we already knew. Heavy Bolter. Nothing changed there. Hunter Killer Missile. I'm not really familiar with the Hunter Killer Missile.
I think went up to strength 10. I think it did +1 AP. I'm not sure, but the strength 10. I know it used to be strength 8. It's not strength 10.
Okay. Yeah, no one ever runs it.
Yeah, you had a lot of vehicles that were toughness 8. Well, not a lot, but a significant amount of them were toughness 8. So this is saloon those on 3s now, which is good.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I know no one really runs a Hunter Killer Missile, so only
And
because
even
of
if
the
you
fact that
did, you
it's one
forgot
shot.
they existed, because that is what I would do.
It's the fact that it's only one shot, one time use. I mean.
Yeah.
The Astartes Chainsword. Oh.
Yep, -1 AP.
-1 AP. We got that. Power Axe, Power Maul, and Power Sword. Now we'll have finally Strength 4 Banshees that can actually hurt a Space Marine.
Yay.
Power Maul was is what? Wasn't Power Maul ×2 strength?
No, I think it's +2 strength. Now it's +3.
+3, okay.
Yeah.
And Power Axe pretty much the same.
That got +1 because it used to be it used to be +1 strength, which got buffed more to +2 strength, which is nice.
I always thought it was +2. So it's strange.
It was +1.
+1 meg 2.
And the Storm Shield. All you custodians out there.
So this is I think this is worth a conversation because it's unclear if this is a buff, a nerf, or kind of like a neutral thing. Because Old Storm Shield, as we know, is a 3-up invul. Now it's a 4-up, but it gives you a +1. So Terminators and Custodians have a 1-up save, which means you need Ren 2 to, degrade their save, right? So what do you guys think? You think this is a buff, a nerf? Doesn't really matter.
Well, I would think it would be a nerf because a 3-up invul save is always good, right? You increase your chance of surviving. Now you have a 50-50 chance of surviving now that it's 4-up.
It comes down to like the Bulligrin though. Back in 8th, when you just reduced your save, you were at like a 2-up invuln or whatever, but you also had like +3 to your save, so it didn't matter what the AP was. No matter what, you were going to get like a 3-up save, or they went to a 3-up invuln. Sorry, not 2-up. So like, if you're throwing AP 2 at it, you got a 3-up still, right? If you're throwing AP 3 at it, you're at a 4-up. So that's where you kind of lose on it. I like it because 3-up invulns are really annoying.
Well,
that's fair.
Yes, we can all agree on that.
I just realized Custodians don't care because their faction rule just gives them a +1 anyway, so the 4-up becomes a 3-up.
There you go.
The Custodians players like me. I was really like, oh man, like there are 4-up, and then realized that just now I just remembered, wait a second, they do have the +1, so it's still a 3-up invul.
Yeah, but for Terminators, losing that 3-up invul, it hurts because I mean you'd expect the elite unit to be able to,
right?
Or you don't expect. You want them to be able to stick around longer. But I guess since they're moving up to 3 wounds, I guess they have, not that bad, but still, I consider it a nerf.
Interesting though what Greg mentioned is if you hit a Terminator squad with a -1 AP gun, it's a 3-up save. But now if you hit them with a -1 AP gun, they're at a 2-up save still.
Yeah. So high rate of fire weapons will do technically less to them because they'll have a better save on it. Yeah. It just makes the, like, when you're firing las cannons and meltas at your Terminator squads, they're a little bit softer.
Right.
But what really kills Terminators is like heavy bolters, right? If heavy bolters, 2 damage. I guess I'm negating the Terminators going up to 3 wounds, but heavy bolters would pick up Terminators a lot quicker. Playing Chaos and always having bricks of Terminators out, I'd much rather get fired at with like Meltas and stuff than 50 heavy bolters. So it makes me more durable. I mean, I don't get Storm Shield, so it doesn't matter, but.
Oh, don't worry. We'll be talking about the 50 heavy bolters soon.
Okay. Well, it looks like time will tell then if this is a good or bad thing overall for the Space Marine players. But it's interesting, I will say.
I think it depends if they take the same thought process with this and put it across all the factions if they're trying to limit the amount of 3-up invulns people are getting.
Yeah.
Like you said, we'll have to wait and see. But that's that. Now we can go on to the big meaty part of the story, which was on Saturday's reveal.
All right.
Codex reveals. So we got the Necrons. You wanna get your hype out of the way now, John?
All right. I mean, there's a lot of hype from me in this whole article, which is awesome. So it looks like they reveal once again the cover art, which we have totally seen before. Everyone knows it exists.
Yes.
Now they talk about the new chapter tactics because everyone gotta call it chapter tactics, right? For the Necrons, the dynastic codes. We've seen this before from the first Codex reveal as a blurry image, but now it's more clear. So it looks like we were right about the Zarkon one where they get a 5-up five up field pain against mortal wounds. They get the reroll 1 wound roll when making attacks, and they get their bonus to their protocols. So protocols are interesting because how they work is they're essentially special rules. Like imagine like kind of like the Devastator tactical assault doctrine where you get like a bonus on a turn. But interestingly, with the protocols is you list out which protocol you're using per turn before the game begins. So before the game starts, you would write a piece of paper on your phone, like, all right, turn 1, I'm using protocol of going, we'll be back, or like protocol of zap them with ghost flares kind of thing on turn 2, and turn 3 is protocol of charge them in close combat. I don't know, but you do that before the game begins, and it's kind of cool because it dictates your game plan because you know what protocol you're using. Now your opponent doesn't because they say that you secretly assign it, but you kind of plan your turns out based on that. And I feel it's a very Necron thing, looking at the Necron lore of having like a set kind of guidebook on how they do a battle, because that's how they function, right? It's very like robotic, it's very calculating. Reading Imhotep's lore, this is kind of stuff I think about when like this is very flavorful, which I like. So it looks like what they reveal is the protocol of the Conquering Tyrant. So when this activates, when your protocols activate, it looks like it affects characters and units within 6 inches of them. Yeah, of character units benefit from the directives from the protocols. So the example uses the protocol of the Conquering Tyrant. So directive number 1 is add 3 inches to the range of the unit's aura abilities, and increases the range of 3 inches for some specific ability they list out. And the other directive option is the eligible can shoot even though they fell back with a -1 to hit. So it looks like when you pick a protocol, you pick the protocol, but you don't pick the directive. The directive you pick when that turn begins. So there is kind of that kind of slight flexibility when you enact your protocols, and I think that's really cool. Yeah, what do you guys think about that? It's pretty big. I mean, we've seen nothing like this before in Warhammer 40,000, as far as I know. So
it sounds cool, but what happens when you have turn 1? Let's say you're like, I'm going to get ready to. I've written down that I'm going to use my destroyer protocol, the one that makes my destroyer strongest. But you don't get first turn, and the guy picks up all your destroyers. Kind of leads to a feel bad moment a little bit, or obviously there's going to be a bunch of different protocols you can pick and stuff.
Right, and that is interesting, and I think that kind of helps well, not helps, but it's because it kind of shapes your tactics, right? Like if you because you're thinking if you pick turn one, using an example, if your turn one is the destroyers blow everything up protocol, you don't want to put your destroyers in a position where they might get shot. Because in ninth edition, as as a listener, everyone knows that there's very little things that help you get first turn. It's just a dice roll, and there's alternate deployment, so it's tough to think about, right? So I think that's interesting. But I'm glad that it's secret, because if it wasn't secret, that would kind of suck, because you would just easily like cripple the army based on what protocol they pick, right?
Oh, of course. I mean, I think it might feel bad, but I also, if I was the Necron player and that happened to me, I would laugh because it'd be like, that's my protocol, man. You totally got me.
Yeah, right.
It'd be really funny in this situation where you're like, oh no, did that really just happen? He's just reading me like a book? How does he know my protocol?
You gotta put those poker faces, man. They're like, yeah, it's not totally using the flayed one deep strike charge protocol this turn. Ignore my 20 flayed ones in the reserves pile.
So I mean, it adds a lot of flavor to it. It's really cool. I dig where it's going with it. I guess I misunderstood it to begin with. I thought it was more like the AdMech thing where you get to pick your directive, but I also TLDR'd some of the Necron stuff because Necrons.
Yeah, right. So yeah, this is cool. Moving on to the cryptech. So this is harkening back to one of the old editions where cryptechs had like essentially classes. You had the bard cryptech, the fighter cryptech, the mage cryptech. Just kidding. But so it looks like they're dropping the generic cryptech now. You have specific chronomancers. You have the plasmancer from the Indominus box, and later on we'll see more cryptechs. But yeah, more characters. They're following the 40k trend that Death Guard started, where you have 1 billion characters, in your army. So,
Well, I mean, you can do it with Necrons for now, because Necrons always seem to be the army when their codex gets dropped, they always add in more new models. And they don't, I wouldn't say they have a lot of character models anyways right now. So it's good to give them a little bit more choices when I compare them to like the Thousand Sons, who got just a bunch of sorcerers and no lord.
right.
So for Necrons, I think it's okay. Let's just hopefully they don't overdo it like they did with the Death Guard.
Yeah, I do wish there's some functionality where like Primaris Lieutenants where you can pick several characters in one slot, because I feel like 9th edition right now, 8 HQ slots are a very valuable resource. So hoping for some, or maybe some of these are leech choices. I don't know. But I hope my realistic expectation is they have, take 3 cryptechs for 1 HQ slot kind of thing, or even 2. Like that'll leave the burden of taking lots of characters.
Like they push it to elite slots, like all the other armies with a lot of characters.
Yeah, it's possible because Death Guard, a lot of the characters are elite choices. So we will see.
You can only hope.
Moving on to some Crusade stuff. So this is I don't know. It's like the 6th week of podcast, and I've yet to play Crusade.
Welcome to the club.
Being hype about it. But it's cool that they're adding flavorful stuff to Crusade. So essentially, like TLDR with this. So in Crusade, you like one of your Necron lords could degrade and turn into a destroyer, because the destroyer virus infects them. So what happens is if you play a game where you have some destroyer units, you can turn one lord in your army or an overlord to a destroyer character. So he kind of loses his mind, starts growing crab legs or like cover tech, and wants to kill everything. It's cool. Very flavorful. Again, if you're a Crusade fan, like me, who hopefully will play Crusade one day, it's cool. Very flavorful.
Oh, maybe when the fires go down, we can do it.
True that.
So, does this like give him any other special abilities for turning into a destroyer, other than getting the destroyer rules? I mean, obviously, flavorful for the Crusade, not like obviously.
I mean, because you don't just gain the keyword, you straight up get a different data sheet. So, for example, the Scorpec Lord is a destroyer character. So it's essentially your regular, top of the line, like upstanding citizen Necron Overlord, loses his mind, and you replace his data sheet with the Score Pick Lord's data sheet, and you have the same amount of experience and looks like and bell honors, which are like the like if he has a relic or something, then he would get the same relic. So and same warlord trait, same experience, all that. So
I figured
it's
you
super
get something
flavorful.
cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it's there's the Dreadnought one later on we'll talk about is pretty interesting too. But I mean, if this is the direction they're going with Crusade, I mean that's great. It's in theory it looks like a fun game or a game campaign thing.
Yes, we will play it one day.
One day that's gonna happen. Up next is Silent King. Seen this model before.
Yes,
But
I'm very disappointed.
What, the model or the stats?
Everything. Well, not the model. The model's fine.
Oh, well,
it's what they revealed about him, which was nothing.
Talk about okay, that's fair. I mean, they revealed his stat line. That's kind of it. He has 16 wounds. He degrades in attacks and movement. That's kind of it.
Yeah, that's what's so disappointing. I think this was an in-depth Codex review. This is what we get. You just get this.
Hey man, you need some more Warhammer articles in the future. Can't just throw everything at once. You gotta milk those clicks.
It'd be a fun model to paint, though.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about that. Someone who's not that good at painting, I don't know about that.
Yeah, Matt, you'll enjoy it. You'll be more happy.
It's too many spindlies.
All right. Now the first crazy reveal, my opinion. Necron rates from 4th edition are back, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what I thought.
Ophidian destroyers. So for you young bloods, I don't know what edition you came in, Greg. If you remember the old wraiths.
Started in 7th, and Wraiths, the first person I learned to play the game against was playing like hyper competitive Necrons and just dumpstered me. I was playing like guard with some what are they? Chimeras, and then I had allied in like Samael and some Ravenwing. That was my like army at the time. And I'm going against Scarab Farm Necrons, and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on in this game. I fired 140 last shots into the Warriors, but there's still 20 of them alive. What's going on? It's like, oh, I just don't take damage. It's like, okay.
There we go.
That was like my first 3 or 4 games of Warhammer.
There we go. So, yeah. So the rates they're probably the new rates then the ones look like scarabs kind of thing. So, once again, like the old raids look like this. So the old raids that used to be Necron warriors with tails that were floating, which essentially what these guys are. Whoever came up with this, like, you're awesome. Whoever design person you are in Games Workshop, because I like the old rates. I'm not mad about the new rates. I wish they both existed at the same time. They weren't replaced, but now they do. Like, these are sick.
Yeah, if you go to, if you click 3 times right, that's basically what the old Wraith looked like. Just minus the little plasma blades arms that they had. Just 2 claws and snake body.
There's a ton of people who kit bashed them that way too. They just took their broken warriors and then just smashed them together like that. I'm sure they're pumped too. They're like, yeah.
It's like, yeah, let's make the C unit.
I was surprised to see them.
Oh yeah, it's I mean, I'm surprised they revealed more stuff. I thought we were done with Necrons, but I guess not.
Gotta make it good.
Yeah, and so they revealed the new data sheet for this unit. So it looks like big things to point out. They have a 10-inch move. They essentially have the same weapons as the Scorpec destroyers, with a replate and a thresher. So I checked; these are exactly the same melee weapons.
3 to 6 in a squad.
Yep, 3 to 6. Thank goodness. I hope that transfers to the Scorpec destroyers, because having a unit of 3, they're kind of not as tanky as I feel they should be. I think having 6 models would be great.
Yeah. They're mean too. 6 attack.
Yeah.
3 blades, damage 2 with the pressures.
And then you got the claws.
Yep.
And they deep strike. That's a kind of big thing. They tunnel in through a reality.
And the 3 damage thing also has exploding 6s too. They're pretty nasty.
That's pretty nasty. And they are destroyers, so if destroyer lords, scorpion lords, all that, give them buffs. So that's cool. I like it.
And
Not
their
only
infantry.
and their infantry, which means they could walk through buildings.
Yep.
So this is exciting. I'll probably pick up a unit of 6. Would fit into a very melee-centric Necron army, having these guys, having these Scorpion destroyers, and having, look at this, scrolling down, holy crap, plastic flayed ones. This has been a meme for like a decade of when these are coming, and oh boy, overlords and overladies, we have plastic flayed ones. My
It's about
gosh,
time.
it is about time.
I remember
And
when they were metal, and then they went to resin. That was worse than them being metal.
Yeah, I agree. And I like the old metal ones more. And these look like harken more to the old metal models, I would say. And my gosh, they're awesome.
I'd say these are more like the resin. The old metal ones weren't, they're kind of just there with claws. That was pretty much it. The resin one put this
The
blade skin on them and stuff.
I'm thinking of the pose, like the very hunched over, closed pose. Reminds me of the old metal ones.
True.
Yeah. Maybe it's a midway. You got the skin of the new ones and the pose of the old ones, and they're very creepy. They're very disgusting, and they're it's exactly what flayed ones should be, in my opinion. So a very happy surprise reveal that this is happening. And it looks like they have AP-1 now on their weapons. I think that's new. Well, they say it's new. And looks like they get exploding hits on 6s. Now, speculation, I hope I'm right, but it's a long shot. If these guys are troops, that would be amazing. You could run like a full melee Necron army.
There are elites, right now.
Currently they're elites, yeah. But who knows, man? I mean, I remember there was in 7th edition, there was the Forge World Necron Tomb World that could let you take flayed ones as troops. So that would be legit. Full melee Necron army.
That would be interesting, seeing how melee's not that good in 40k, but we could see.
That was fine. I enjoy it quite a lot.
Lap says the Slanesh player with his his ultra meleeness. But yeah, that's awesome. Having varieties in place is always good, I think.
And what we got here? We got the
Here we got
Chronomancer.
the Chronomancer. So this is going back to earlier talking about more cryptex. So the Chronometron, that upgrade already exists. I think it's been changed. It used to be an aura. Now it's you pick one unit. It gets a 5-up invul like before, but now you can reroll charges for it, which is pretty cool. So it's one of those like slight buffs, slight nerfs kind of thing. Because on one hand you lose the aura, but on the other hand, it's not a single unit thing now. But on the other hand, you get reroll charges, which could be huge for your new flayed ones, your Scorpex, your
Destroyers.
Yeah.
Like 36 attacks coming in.
Yeah, reroll charges. And Cryptex. And if you can give this guy a Canoptic Cloak, he'd be good babysitting a unit of destroyers, moving around, give them reroll charges.
Beautiful model. Like it.
It's a great model. And hopefully all the Cryptex keep their reanimation buffs. We'll see. Next Cryptech, we got the Psychomancer.
So the big thing on that one though is it's in your command phase, right? So you can have your guys there. They've been 9 inches away. Then they move 10, and they still get to keep rerolling charges. So you don't have to worry about aura stacking or anything like that. They just go off and have a 5-up invul.
Oh, that's true. It doesn't activate in the charge phase. That's right.
And it's an individual unit, right?
Yeah.
For the next command phase. So they just go off and do their own thing. That's really sick.
That's cool. That's very Age of Sigmar actually when I think about it, because a lot of Age of Sigmar abilities are like, you flop this and then until your next hero phase you get these buffs. So that's cool. That's a good point there, Greg.
Think about that.
Yeah. Next we got the Psychomancer with his holographic skull.
It's digital skull.
It's a cool model, but I think we talked before in the podcast. I don't know. Maybe you guys playing, with the games you played. I still feel morale isn't that big of a deal. As well, I don't think it's as big of a deal that Games Workshop thinks it is.
Not unless you can. I mean, now that you can't make people run. Now that one's an auto pass, it's not really that important, and the chances of you rolling a lot of ones by losing models is not really that high.
The
Unless you're
new
just
leadership,
rolling crappily.
I haven't had cultists run in like 5 games. I've won like 2 or 3 games basically off 8 of my cultists running, and it's just standing on the objective until my next phase. Like the fact that I could lose 6 cultists and not have them just disappear is so fantastic. So like subtracting another one. But this also says combat attrition, right? So that would be the second part of when you fail morale. So then are you running on 1, 2s, and 3s? So
That's
you have 10 cultists, you lose 5, right? Now you roll 5 more dice, and 1, 2s, and 3s. That means 3 more cultists run?
I would assume so, because you already had half, so you're running on 1s and 2s, and if this is an additional -1 to the attrition, you're running on 3s. So
yeah, that's
this could be devastating, but you gotta get them down to half for it to be really effective, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you still take combat attrition, so it's just then not 1s and 2s if you don't kill half.
Yeah.
It's all right.
it
This
is
may be Night Lords a bunch, where it's like, what are they going to do to Night Lords to make their leadership make more sense now and then?
true that. It's pretty short range, 6 inches, and Cryptex aren't the tankiest dudes in the Necron army.
No.
Nope. Well, you gotta start running them up with like flayed ones and destroyers.
Yeah.
Keep
It's
them
more
keep them
seeing
safe.
the leaks and seeing where they're going with the game in Ninth Edition, more of that. So if it's like seeing the combat attrition test itself being modified is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Dope model too. I mean, it's
I
always the
like it.
case. They always make cool models, to be honest.
I like the tendrils lower half. I like the
Yeah.
robot aesthetic of that happening. Of course, they did a better job on the Chronomancer, but it looks okay here. So, what are you guys' thoughts? Since I believe that's all the Necron review. Now we're on Space Marine. What are your thoughts on the Necrons?
I mean, plastic raids and plastic flayed ones, I'm very happy. Especially because I was of the mind that, like before this, all we saw about Necrons was it. So this is just icing on the cake, and my gosh, it's some great icing. Again, it's plastic flayed ones, guys. My God, this is crazy to me. I still can't get over that. It's plastic flayed ones.
Well, I mean, it was a given, right? Aren't they reverting everything back into plastic now?
They are, but it was a matter of when, and this, it's gonna be before the year ends. It's crazy to me. I'm definitely picking up like between 10 to 20 of these. If they're troops, I'm getting 20 for sure. But if they're elites, maybe I'll pick up 10. Run a blob of murder bots. Their claws.
What about you, Greg? Any thoughts on the Necrons?
It's pretty cool. Necrons are cool. I have a bunch of like Necron scraps laying around. That is like a secondary army when I first started playing. That's how I learned how Necrons actually work. When I first started the game, I bought some like new Necron army, but like I'm probably not going to go too deep into the Necrons, but it's cool that they're getting a boost and they're getting cool units and they're getting cool models. Flayed ones always looked sweet, but you never saw them. So maybe you'll see a bunch of flayed ones now.
Yes, I would agree. I think the Necrons got it good this edition, but we gotta see how all their special stuff works out there. You got chapter tactics.
Yeah.
See how good they all
Interesting.
how good they all are. That might make or break the army.
Let's see what changes. What was their equivalent to like a heavy bolter? Wasn't that the troop, the Immortals?
Yeah, it's only
Yes.
damage 1 though.
Okay. I was just trying to equate that to like some of the bolter changes.
Yeah, it is AP -2. In the games I played with, and that's made a difference. But it is
Yeah.
still damage 1. But it is 30-inch range on a toughness 5 platform. That's obsec. So
It's pretty good.
yeah, pretty good.
The Necron troop choices aren't bad at all.
They only got 2 troop choices, so
Hopefully,
I guess they have an extra weapon on that. That's what I was thinking is they have the extra weapon on the warriors themselves now that has the -2 right half range though.
I believe that's the
Yeah.
Immortals, right?
No, it's the Warriors. And with that, like if the the Saw Tech rules are accurate in that they lets you rapid fire up to 18, and in this case up to 14. I think that could see some play. In the games I played where we played with those rules, they've been great. 14 inches rapid fire, strength 5 -2 1 damage on Necron warriors. Yeah, I've blown up like whole squads of bikes and blade guard from like 15 guys rapid firing just because of the amount of AP -2 shots going in their way.
That's because you're a monster.
That's true. I do play Necrons.
All right, well, we have all our thoughts on that. We can move on to the Space Marines, the one that everyone's going crazy about right now.
Here we go, Primaris.
There we go. We got the book. We've seen the book.
Seen the
Know
book.
what it looks like. This is what? Even Death I still serve. So this is the Crusade, right?
It's Crusade thing, yeah. So essentially, it's pretty cool. So if your character gets an injury after the game, you could spend a CP to replace him with a Dreadnought, any Dreadnought. So he turns to a Dreadnought. Again, go like the Destroyer thing, very flavorful, very cool. And it's dope. I like it.
You remember Corn Demon Ken back in 7th edition?
Uh-huh.
Let's just get that going again at this point. That was really fun. I mean, I was always on the receiving end of killing like a Chaos Lord and having it turn into a Bloodthirster, but that was cool.
Oh, that'll be sick if whenever Codex World Leaders comes out and just like Crusade, your guy turns into a Bloodthirster if he dies.
Yep.
So I can put my guy into any Dreadnought, huh? So
yes.
if he was just a little firstborn, he can be put into a Primaris Dreadnought? Is that what this is saying?
Yes. Well, if you look, I actually did some research on the lore with Dreadnoughts, and so any Dreadnought can have any kind of Marine. So Boxnauts could have Primaris, Leviathans can have Primaris, and Redemptors could have regular guys, as far as I know.
Okay.
So yeah, you could turn your firstborn to Redemptor. I mean, we're all gonna turn them to Leviathans. Let's be real here.
I thought it was like the whole transport vehicle thing. No?
Yeah, no, actually, yeah, the Dreadnoughts don't care how many organs you have or how tall you are. They will stick you in there, and you can keep fighting for the Emperor. Also, a neat tidbit here is there's a sentence saying that one of the things you can do is turn a firstborn to a Primaris, which is kind of funny.
No, it's possible. Is there a risk of dying when doing
Yeah,
this? Or
though doing so does not come without risk, so it's possible you could just die.
can be like their Papa Malleus Calgar. Alright, what we got here? So we got Primaris Chaplain.
Yeah, to say it just talks about how the Psychic Awakening stuff is going to be in the Codex, like the mastery,
relics, the warlord
chapter
trait.
upgrades, yeah, relics, warlord traits, etc., etc.
Okay. Then we got the new Primaris Captain with the heavy bolt rifle.
Yeah, and Gravis armor. So
and Gravis armor.
This unit technically exists already from Dark Imperium, but Dark Imperium being out of print now, there's no way right now to directly get a Gravis Captain. So
okay. And then after that, they show off the Heavy Intercessor, or what are these guys?
Yeah,
Heavy Intercessor Squad.
All right, so
there's a bunch of Gravis armor Marines with heavy bolt rifles, which I at first thought, well, wow, they're gonna get their own like little Devastator unit, because I read the title first, Heavy Intercessor Squad. No, gonna just be holding a bunch of bolter guns, which pretty much just give them all heavy bolters. I mean, and you can't give them heavy bolters, but Hellstorm bolt rifles.
Yeah, Assault 3, 5, AP 0, damage 1.
Are pretty much heavy bolters. And you can take 10 of these guys.
Yep.
And what I've learned is that these guys are troop choices.
Right. So these guys, the big thing too is they are in Gravis armor, so which means they're toughness 5 and have 3 wounds.
Yeah, it's gonna be insane. Having T5 3 wound troop choices. Almost almost like playing custodians now.
Right. A big thing is their points cost, I think, and the other thing is yeah, it's their point cost. Is it good to have these guys? Is it more efficient to just get intercessors? Like, what's who knows?
Well, it's all gonna depend on your chapter, right? Because I know Imperial Fists could get a lot of mileage out of this.
I would
True.
lean towards Ultramarines because they have the Signs of Gilliman stratagem, which that like they could just go off on their own and sit on an objective and get rerolls.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
Or am I thinking of the Science of Gilliman? Is the Science of Gilliman that lets you fire at rapid fire at 24 inches on troop? I might be getting those two confused.
No, I think it's it's their tactical doctrine bonus, where they just kind of standing still all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they can move and shoot heavy weapons, no penalty. Their heavy bolt rifle is rapid fire up to 36, which is crazy. Actually, yeah, I think that's the way to go for Ultramarines is the heavy bolt rifle, because you're looking at 2 shots, strength 5 -1 damage, well -2 in tactical at 36 inches on a toughness 5 3 wound platform.
you
Yeah.
think heavy bolt rifle's the way to go? I wouldn't assume Hellstorm bolt rifle would be the way to go. I mean, you get a unit of 10, that's 30 shots right there.
It is 30 shots.
Of course, you know.
It is strength 5. I mean, you could do that with the intercessors. But it's strength 4, but probably way cheaper with less wounds.
I'm just talking about the durability wise, pretty much. They're going to be like basically you just bring like 5 or 10 intercessors, right? And what are they going to do all game? They're going to stand on an objective and shoot stuff. So now you could take this heavy intercessor squad, replace them, and just have them and shoot more and be more tanky. Seems pretty good.
Right.
It seems like a solid troop choice, but again, you know, it's all gonna depend. Competitive wise, it's all gonna depend on your chapter. That's where it's gonna come down to.
And the points.
And and the points.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't figure
Blood
you.
Angels, like, or White Scars getting huge mileage out of this, especially because you can give the Sarge a heavy weapon or a melee special weapon. So you're right. Yeah, no, Matt's right. Like, it depends on your chapter. Like Fists would love this. Raven card I can see would love this. -1 to hit on top of what
Yeah.
they do.
I mean, I don't really expect anyone to take more than a big unit of 5 at most. Just, I mean, I don't know how prevalent blast weapons are gonna be because again, we're still very early, so we don't know what all is gonna be good. You know, I wouldn't take a big squad where you would automatically take 3 hits, depending on what's shooting you. But a solid unit of 5 probably be the way to go. Small little units of these things.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 wounds, 5-man squad. That's 15 wounds there.
3
Someone has
wounds
to
gets
choose
them
their-
away from the Chaos Spawn, too. Chaos Spawn love eating intercessor standing on objectives. Heavy intercessor squads, a little bit more annoying.
It's that extra wound and extra toughness that makes them
Mm-hmm.
good.
The T5, I think, is the biggest part.
I mean, you basically got Plague Marines right here, being toughness 5, and better. Well, I don't know if it's better, but I mean, the 3 wounds help out. Stops a lot of the 2 damage weapons from just popping them off the board. So there goes my overheat, my haywire guns to kill some Space Marines.
And your heavy bolters.
And the heavy bolters. Pretty solid troop, I would say.
All right. Next one looks like we have everyone's favorite Eradicators.
Eradicators, yay!
So it looks like you can take a multi-melta as a heavy weapon option.
The heavy weapon option, that's just 2 shots, right?
Yeah, you have one guy could replace his melta rifle with the multi-melta. It is
Yeah.
2 shots, but they have the shoot twice ability. So,
So stupid.
hey Manny, you have to shoot at the same target. It's a caveat.
Well, I mean, depending what you're shooting at, I mean, it'll be worth it because most likely you'll be shooting at a vehicle.
Yeah, I'm like 90% of the time you're probably shooting the same target. You want that dead.
Vehicle/monster. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what we got here? We got the Blade Guard veteran.
Blade guard, full kit.
Yeah, the other kit that they said that they were gonna do last
Yeah.
preview.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, no big rule changes other than you could take a Volkite weapon, a Volkite pistol on the sergeant. I mean, it's a cool unit. I like it. It's very flavorful. Looks cool.
It's pretty good too.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. What's your competitive take on these, Greg? Because
They're always when I play. I play against Space Marines. They're always something that I tend to ignore for a while because they're not going to do too much, right, for the first 2 turns.
mm-hmm.
But then turn 3 and 4, they're pretty durable and they can do a lot of damage to stuff. I've had like one where he just survived. He wouldn't die. I fit perils like a smite. He ended up killing like 2 foul blight spawns and a Herald of Nurdle over like 3 turns just walking through. I just couldn't get through his armor and he just went through it. They're a nice utility unit because you're never, I don't think they're that expensive. They're not that expensive where if they just stand on an objective and raise a banner, you don't feel bad for a turn. It's not like they're going to draw tons of fire because, I mean, they're not really doing damage unless they're punching you. They're a good, I like the unit. If I was playing Space Marines, I would try to always find room for at least 3 of them in any, I think almost any chapter. I might take more units if I was playing White Scars or Blood Angels or something more melee focused.
These will definitely be my Black Templars.
Yeah, that's good to hear because these fit my knightly Dark Angel aesthetic. So that's good to hear that they have a place in competitive lists.
Yeah, I like them. I think they're really good. I would try to jam 3 in there.
You say 3 guys, right? Not 3 units.
Just 3 guys. 3 guys,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Unless maybe Blood Angels, maybe you're taking 9 of them total.
Just like with the heavy intercessors, right? The thing with the Space Marines, it always depends on the chapter that.
That's right. That's right.
That's what dictates what usually goes into your army.
Because even then, they're like, I see them as like the Electro Priests. I love Electro Priests. They're great at doing a lot of different things, right? You can push them up the board and just pick stuff up. Or you could just leave them in your deployment zone, and people are like, I don't really want to charge your gun line because you're just going to hit me with the Electro Priest sitting right there. And then they're going to have a 3-up invuln, and I have to figure out how to deal with that. So they fill that same role where they can just do so much.
Yeah. I feel they have a strong place. But we'll see what happens. See what happens with them. Next up we got more intercessors. Combat intercessors.
Yeah. Assault intercessors. So this confirms that the sergeant can take a thunder hammer, which is what honestly what anyone cares about. You know.
Why does it look like a toy hammer though?
I don't know. I'm using other thunder hammers I have. It looks tiny.
The Premier is that big that they just make it look like a little toy hammer.
It's just the first one hammer put in his hand, you know.
That's true.
Looks like he just went to like a construction and just took a hammer.
Do the assault intercessors cost the same as normal intercessors?
They're cheaper.
They're
I believe
cheaper.
they're 5 or 10 points cheaper.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, I know those pistols were range 18. That's pretty long. Like I thought they're just cute young pistols, for when you're in melee, right? But no, they're 18 inches. They're strength 4 -1 damage. So they could kills, be more than an annoyance in the shooting phase.
The like heavy bolt pistols are so terribly annoying. I can't I'm not sure what's up with my plague burst crawlers, but they just crumble to bolt pistols.
It's not blessed by the Emperor,
Yeah.
Don't have that protection. Then we got the image that we all knew was gonna come back when it was blurry, but we got 3 variants of the new speeder. So first off, we got the Storm Speeder. Looks like it's got a. Tell me what weapons it's got. Onslaught, Gatling Gun, 2 Iron Hail Heavy Stuffers, and a pair of Frag Storm Grenades. So, first of all, excuse me. First of all, what do you guys think of this design? is what you think a Primaris land speeder would look like?
I would
You'd-
say so. I think this is a great design. The ATV was very controversial. This I think is this is just a better land speeder in the best way possible.
Yeah, I think it looks very nice. Like, the ATV was pretty stupid, seeing how Primaris was leaning more towards hover technology, and then they're like, yeah, got my 4-wheeler, let's just deck it out with some guns, and there we go.
These are probably going to have the -2 to charge, right? Just like all other Gravis vehicles.
This one doesn't, because we have a data sheet below.
Oh, we do? I didn't even notice the data sheet. That really puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, a full data sheet. Not for this one, but for the second one, the anti-tank one.
The Storm Speeder, which is the next one. It's got tank buster missiles, grenades, even tri-barrel melta. Tri-barrel melta. I did not read that the first time.
Yeah, so it looks like
Looking at the
16
data
inch
sheet.
move, 3 up, 3 up, strength 5, who cares? Toughness 6, 10 wounds, 3 attacks, who cares? Leadership 7, who cares? 3 up save. Hammer strike missile, heavy 2, strength 8, -3 damage. Grenade launcher, strength 6, -1 d3. Melta destroyer, heavy 3, strength 8, -4 d6 with a melter rule. This is neat. If you're Dark Angels, you can be Raven Wing. So, I mean, Dark Angels players like myself, that's cool. What do you guys think with this platform and the weapons it has?
Well, can't take it in a squad. A little disheartening, because I think if you could have taken it in a squad, you'd have a pretty good rival against the ATVs. But seeing how it's just a single ship, I mean, it'll depend. How far did the ATVs move? They moved 14, right? Like just 2 inches shorter than this.
I can't recall. It was pretty far.
Yeah. So I mean, the advantage that this got is that it's got grenade launcher. I mean, not grenade launchers. Sorry. It's got missile launchers. So it has pretty good threat range from far and still pretty good tank. But tank killing with the 3 meltas. But ATVs, I mean, you get 3 of them. That's 6 shots right there with melta. You can easily take out a vehicle/monster.
Just park them next to your Dark Shroud, and then they're -1 to hit, right? Or is that only bikers?
That I'm not sure.
No, I believe it's -1 for everything.
I wasn't 100% sure. I thought it was, but I wasn't 100%.
I'm pretty sure it's -1 for anything within the aura, the Dark Shroud.
As much as I don't want it, I'm glad it doesn't have the -2 to charge, because that is so terribly annoying with the new 9th edition terrain rules and everything. Everything just kind of adds up, and you're like, that's a 12-inch charge, and I'm actually 3 inches away. How do I do that? Because you could do some really mean stuff if these had the -2. You just park them in specific places where the charge is just like, never mind, I can't do anything about it. So it's good that they don't have that, but I also think they'd be way better if they did.
One huge difference from the ATVs is these, obviously you could tell, but they fly, so way more maneuverable in terrain dense areas. Parking, they could easily go on top of a building, don't have to be limited through empty, the lanes between buildings, right? At least and with my gaming group, we play with a lot of terrain. We try to get as much terrain as the game suggests, so I think being able to maneuver wherever you can is pretty advantageous, I would say, and makes it it's an advantage over the ATV. I still think the ATV is slightly better because you can just pump out more firepower for a similar cost, but I think this has a place for sure. Again, ultimately it depends on the points cost.
There's the Landspeeder Storm, right, that transports the Firstborn?
Yeah.
You think they're going to have a variation where this actually transports people? Like 3 Blade Guard you could jam in there?
I would say no, because the Impulsor exists.
Impulsor carries 6, though. I wasn't sure if they'd have a smaller one, just like the Landspeeder Storm.
Like a 3 one.
Hmm.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, carrying just three blade guard, 16 inches somewhere. Yeah, maybe.
Or eradicators or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
We'll have to wait and find out, but
Yeah. For now,
I
we
would
have.
say pretty unlikely at this point. It also doesn't really look like you could transport
No,
anyone.
it doesn't. The 3 people could just get out and then just park.
Yeah.
Just park the land
Park-
speeder.
Park the guy.
It would be interesting if if it blew up, then they got out. That would be interesting, but kind of stupid. Since no one else has anything like that. And then the last one, I believe this one's the heavy, right?
No, this one's the anti-air one, the Thunder Strike. So I guess it says it has.
Well, I mean, like it's heavy support, right? Or was that the other one? Because one of these aren't two of these are fast attack, and the other one's heavy support, or are they all fast?
Oh, it doesn't say the slots. It just says the first one's anti-infantry, the second one's anti-tank, and the third one's kind of anti-tank, but also anti-air. Probably has some bonus against flyers or something.
Yeah, well, it's got 2 Icarus rocket pods, and
It's like a last cannon in the middle.
yeah, what I would assume. It doesn't really give me any other information other than the Icarus rocket pods.
Or is that the laser destroyer?
Could be. It looks like the whoever one's on the repulsors.
So, overall thoughts? I think these were good, these were necessary, or these will be like whatever.
It fits the trend of primarizing everything. This is a Primaris land speeder, so I don't think it's as crazy as the ATVs, but I think it has its place. Like you won't give yourself by taking one.
It'll definitely work out in a fast, objective style kind of games. You want to go for engaged on all fronts. You can easily get these on the other side of the board, which helps out with the Space Marines, because I know they don't have many fast vehicles other than the flyers, the aircrafts, I should say, not flyers. They can put out the DACA, but 10 wounds and not that many shots. You're playing a little bit with fire there, which is why I would assume the ATVs are better if you take, squad of 3. You're either 5 or 6 wounds a pop.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing at least 18 to 15 wounds on those ATVs, where this is 10 and can easily be taken out if obviously focused. It's all gonna be about placement on that. You got any last thoughts on this before we move on?
No, a lot of Primaris. Looks cool.
I'm glad they confirmed the Thunderhammer and Assault Intercessors, because people who like this unit, everyone I've talked to is very anxious about that. I mean, it's kind of given because Intercessors have it, but this confirming it, I think it's great.
Yeah, well, I know this picture has been this pixelated picture's been surfacing for almost a year now.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah. Now that they finally revealed.
All right, and next one.
Next one, we got the release of the next codex down the line for this year. All right. Oh, did I jump the gun?
No, you're right. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
cool. So I'm just playing the video right now, but
okay.
we got
So excited.
the
go ahead,
Blood
yeah.
Angels. The Blood Angels coming around. We can talk over it. I'm not. Blood Angels, Death Watch, Space Wolves, and Death Guard, all coming up. And the video just got to the Death Guard. We got the image of the
Death Guard Lieutenant.
Death Guard Lieutenant and the 2 furnaces in the back, I guess.
Oh, the terrain, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know if that's going to be just terrain or if that's actually going to be Death Guard related.
I think it's going to be terrain. Like they're pushing the faction terrain for everyone, so I think
Yeah.
It
We like the
needs-
Nurgle tree.
yeah.
needs just give
Nurgle
me
trees
turn.
are great.
Okay. We would hope for something. Whatever, it's fine.
All right, Greg. Let's start with the model. You sound like a Death Guard player. What do you think?
I think it looks cool. Just another Terminator. I love the double-tipped Plague Spitter.
How do you
Or Plague
feel?
Spewer.
How do you feel about another Death Guard character?
I think it's fine. I don't think you're really taking that many characters in Death Guard. I mean, they have a lot, but you're not going to take like guys that buff your Blight Lords and guys that buff your Plague Marines. You're either taking Blight Lords or you're either taking Plague Marines. So when you kind of focus on either thing, it gets a lot easier. I only have 4 or 5 characters, if that. You have the Demon Prince, you have a caster, you have, I guess, the one Pal Blightspawn, and maybe not the Noxus Brightbringer, and then the Grenade guy if you're running Plague Marines, no Grenade guy if you're running Terminators. And then you also have to have the Word Bearer's Sorcerer. So I guess you still run a lot of characters, but he's going to replace something in there.
Yeah.
And the part behind Chaos Spawn and Plague Verse Crawler, so it's not like your characters are really in danger that often.
Well, I know.
So I don't think they revealed in the article or the video, but in the Facebook, they revealed that this guy, maybe in the Twitch stream they revealed it, but this guy apparently buffs demon engines.
Yep, that's what we need.
Yeah.
Make Defilers stronger. Make the Plague Verse Crawler stronger.
Did they give like any hints on what he does buff wise?
No.
Or
Well, just that he works with Plague Ninjas really well. That's about it.
no?
Yeah.
I think it'd be sick if they gave him like an extra AP or something, kind of like the inexorable warlord trait. When you're shooting vehicles, you get extra AP. So if you could do something like that to him, that would be really nice, since you already kind of have your durability intact, and you could take a Chaos Lord for the rerolls. So for getting like more AP would be nice.
Mm.
Find out with the
Or
newest
maybe
character.
he'll be Disc Lord of Death Guard, and
Plus
he'll just give him +1. Yeah.
So moving on to the codexes that got revealed here. Are you guys shocked or surprised that these were the codexes that were going to be released this year?
I'm not, because we're already getting a huge Space Marine release, and getting the rules for the rest of the Space Marine factions to coincide with that model release, I think that's a good idea. Just so we aren't like, as you know, as a blood, it's riding the hype, right? Like, because if you, whether you're a Blood Angels player, an Ultramarines player, or a Space Wolf player, you wanna, you're excited by the all the new Primaris and all that. So I think riding that hype close to the release is great. They even mentioned the Dark Angels are getting a release first, or the first release next year.
Well, I figured all the Space Marine chapters and Heretics will be pretty much out of the way by the end of February, I would assume.
Deathwatch never got a book though either, right? They were just like a couple pages in a White Dwarf.
I think they have a
I thought they
codex.
got a book.
Yeah, they got a book for 8th. I mean, no one played that RMA as far as I know.
They were hot for a little bit there, but I'm pretty sure they didn't have a book.
I think the one that just took me off guard was that Death Guard was coming out. I mean, I know they're Space Marines, but I was just surprised that it wasn't just going to be another Space Marine supplement.
It'd be good to throw, a Chaos release there.
I figured they would just do the generic Chaos first before touching like a Death Guard or 1,000 Suns.
We kind of talked about it before, and I think they do it this way because, like, you don't have access to Chaos Lords as 1,000 Sun, right? And I don't have access to, like, Obliterators. So it keeps them to make them unique. So it's like, if I get Disco Lords and I get Obliterators and stuff like that, what's the point of going into Space Marines if Death Guard has all the same tools,
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it easier to isolate specific units to books in that way, sort of. Either that, or they're spending they want to, take their time on the Night Lords and figure out leadership. and maybe word bearers to give them a legion trait that does something.
Yeah, well, we would hope so.
I think they're gonna have a huge Chaos Marine release, not just Codex.
Oh,
Have,
I agree with that.
like
Full
model.
ground.
That would be amazing.
Full ground noise marines. Please give me noise marines that I can actually have.
I think my far-fetched prediction is that they're pushing the Chaos Marine Codex release back because they're gonna come out with either Emperor's Children or World Eaters. Because we know that's happening. We know there's gonna be a Fulgrim model because people like Greg are gonna buy one, and we know there's gonna be an Angron model because people like John are gonna buy one.
I'm gonna buy an Angron one. I'm gonna buy Angron also. Just give me all the big guys.
Yeah, dude.
I still need to put together like 24 berserkers. Things to do, but noise marines first.
Yeah, that's my prediction. And I think pushing Dark Angels back next year means we will get some Dark Angel stuff.
They'll probably just re-release the kits with like Raven Wing effects to like the 4-wound bikers and the other land speeders and stuff.
That would be cool, yeah. It would be crazy if we saw like a faction-specific unit, like I don't know, like Deathwing, like Primaris. I doubt we'll see Primaris Deathwing Terminators before we get generic Primaris Terminators, but who knows? We could see a Primarch. You never know at this rate.
Oh, I figured a Loyalist Primarch would come out before another Heretic one, but
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see how big the demand for Fulgrim / Angron is.
Yeah, and for the Xenos players, I think pushing the Xenos back is again an indication of a massive kit release. I mean, Necrons are getting 1 billion new kits. I can see Craft World Eldar getting 1 billion new kits. When goodness knows they need those billion new kits.
Yes, they need it badly.
Yeah.
Then we could quickly touch upon the Forge World updates, which they pretty much just said buy Death Corpse of Krieg. That's pretty much all it said.
Are they re-releasing? I thought they pulled them from Forge World. I thought they did like the final prints of the Death Corps, didn't they?
No, it's like back and forth. Like some units are out, some units that are coming back. It's kind of all over the place with Forge World units. So hopefully this means they're bringing all the kits back.
I just watched this video and I see my Titan in there, and it's like, why is he gotta be like 2,100 points?
One thing to keep in mind, or to point out, interestingly enough, is that right now there's about 300 something Forge World data sheets,
and they're only giving us 191.
Exactly. So that's a lot of units being squatted for Legends. So it's going to be interesting seeing what those are. I can imagine stuff like, it's probably going to be stuff that isn't sold anymore, like the Chaplain Dreadnought, unfortunately, because that's not being made anymore. So it's probably going to go to Legends. Stuff like that, right? Or Renegades and Heretics and the Legion Drop Troops. They're gone. That's a huge shoot. Lots of data sheets that are going to be missing. But I think the general rule, I think, is that if you have a model in mind, look in the Forge World website. If it's still being sold, it's going to be a data sheet.
Okay. So I'll have to take a look and make sure some of my Forge World stuff's still going to be in there.
Yeah.
I mean, the only Forge World I got, besides my Titan, is some Shadow Specters. But
those guys are unique, and I think they'll stay. They're pretty unique. Lots of the Xeno stuff actually is still in production. It's mostly the random like Space Marine and Guard stuff, like Renegades and Heretics, like Chaplain Dreadnoughts, like the old Chaos Dreadnoughts, for example.
Well, I guess there you go. You heard it first. Go see if your stuff's still in stock. If it is, then you're in luck. Maybe. That's just a prediction.
You think there's going to be any changes on the data sheets or mega changes on them?
I think there's going to be mega changes. Last time we heard about this, so what happened was, the previous data sheets were written by the Forge World team, which is why they were kind of wacky and inconsistent, because I heard they were rushed. But now, the 40K rules team, whoever they are, rewrote all the Forge World data sheets, presumably for 9th edition. So I think we'll see more stuff that's more in line with the 40K stuff that's not like way, because there's some Forge World units that are just like, what does this do? Like,
why is this in here?
Like there's a chaos weapon that wounds on leadership, stuff like that. It's like it's kind of strange, kind of odd. So yeah, I think I would say there's gonna be huge changes to Forge World units. So I mean, if you
Well,
have Leviathans, they could suck now. Who knows? I don't think they will, but who knows?
with everything getting squatted, like you said, going from 300 plus to only 191, it's gonna be some big changes. I would hope.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're good, not make a Titan 21 and so it can never be used. But that's it for the preview. What are you guys' overall thoughts?
I mean, I play both these armies, so I'm very happy. Nothing here just is disappointing.
What about you, Greg? Any thoughts on the preview?
Oh, really? Necrons look cool. Be fun to see them again, you know? And the Primaris stuff. Like, the big comment on that one is, like, I bust out my Grey Knights the other day, and it feels really weird to put, like, a strike squad down, and you're like, what is going on here? This guy's so tiny compared to all the Primaris stuff, and it just feels like you're playing, like, babies or something. It's really weird.
That was always the meme. The firstborn, or when the Primaris got introduced, and everyone's like, it's so tiny compared to my firstborn model here.
Even like the Death Guard, the Plague Marines are really beefy compared to like strike squads and stuff. So it's just like really weird to like play Grey Knights and be like, these guys are so tiny now. That's my input on Primaris.
I think we're getting Primaris Grey Knights whenever their Codex is going to be out. Just the fact that Necron's got a huge redo, I can see those other guys getting a huge redo.
I doubt it. I think they'll just increase the scale of the models. I don't think they're gonna be like, guess what, guys? Call did it again. He gave us Primaris Grey Knights now.
Well, technically, guys, if you read Sons of the Selenar, Horus Heresy, Siege of Terra Novella, Call did not invent Primaris. So read that for the true designers of Primaris. Little side note there.
Overall, I thought it was a pretty good reveal. Again, I'm still disappointed that Silent King, we got nothing off that. That was the only thing I was really looking forward to.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see like a buff he did, because this seems like a guy that just does more than walk forward and beat stuff. I can imagine him having some really cool abilities.
Maybe that's why he has no rules, because you're going to see his rule things. He's being silent. You get to pick what he does. You just write it down on a piece of paper and show your opponent when you do things.
It's a big fort.
So go with the thematic, protocols thing.
Jokes aside, it'd be funny if like his rule was like you pick an ability you pick at the beginning of the game and your opponent doesn't know which one he comes with.
That'd be pretty sick, not gonna lie.
Yeah, right. And who knows, man? The protocol is already pretty left field in terms of 40k rules, so it'd be cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to find out what they do.
Give them a Nagash rule, and have that one be silent. Put a dice in your hand. No, I'm good.
No, we don't
Please
need
put a
any of
dice in
that.
your hand. No.
We don't need any of that creeping into 40k. It's taking Age of Sigmar long enough to get that out of their game. Well, wanted to go over a few more things that leaked out of a White Dwarf. First one, I don't know if you'll be. It's a little blurry up on my screen, but it was the reanimation protocol that got leaked. You guys read this?
Yeah. So essentially, it says that reanimation happens after every attack. So I don't think it's just a feel no pain. So my prediction is that after you remove casualties from an attack, you immediately roll for reanimation. And then just keep doing that every time you remove casualties from an attack.
Yep, it's going to make those wraiths, when you bring them in a unit of 6, way more annoying to remove.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely... Wait, so it's after every attack, right? Not phase?
That's all we know is after every attack.
Yeah, well, there you go. Good luck wiping out a unit. Because as long as they keep getting at least one guy back, that unit, you're going to have to dedicate so much more firepower to it. I think the only way to stop it, right, is to completely destroy the unit.
Right, and which is the same as before.
Right, but
But
you
if
know,
it's
kill
changing,
them.
but if it's changing just for when you remove that casualty, you roll for it, right? And you fail, that thing is gone, and there's no way to bring it back later in the game unless you use stratagem. If that's how they're changing reanimation protocols. Because right now, doesn't it currently work like I kill 5 destroyers at the end of the turn, you can bring back as many as you want, just like a Miragling Infestation?
Yeah, pretty much. You rolled 5 dice because you have 5 dead destroyers, and on a 5-up, a guy comes back.
And you can always bring them back. We still have ghost arcs and the tripods that can bring back models.
Yeah, we'll see. I can imagine some stratagem interactions with this that add some more dimensionality to reanimation protocols. So I'm glad it's not just feel no pain. That's kind of boring. Well, I'm not saying feel no pain itself is boring, but I'm saying another army-wide feel no pain would be kind of boring. Because
Yeah.
Death Guard have that, Nurgle has that, some other armies have access to that kind of thing. So
Glad they have this ability again, because that was always the cool thing about the Necrons. You kill them, and it's like, all right, let's see how many come back to life. All right,
yeah,
all of them.
please no phase out, Games Workshop.
Oh no, we need that rule back.
No.
It's so flavorful.
Oh man, watch it be a buff. Like if a unit is below something, it doesn't give victory points. I don't know. Just phases out.
And then another one we got another chapter, Silver Templars, which will be a ultramarine successor. Before, you guys read any of these rules on them?
Yeah, it looks like their chapter tactic is on a 6 to hit. If you're attacking an infantry or biker, it automatically wounds. And the other one is you reroll 1 hit roll when you attack for every attack you do. So not crazy. I mean, it's cool. Has some warlord traits.
It's cool
and
to
some
see that they're adding some new stuff. Flavor.
It was just like average Space Marine stuff, nothing totally insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't want to be adding another Codex supplement, right?
Right.
It's a little nice White Dwarf army.
Something interesting I'm going to point out on the stratagem part. It says there's a stratagem that affects a Silver Templar Primaris core unit. So if you look at the heavy intercessors from earlier, they have a keyword called core. So I think that confirms that we're now Warhammer Fantasy and that we're getting square bases.
Okay, there.
I'm just kidding. Because troops in fantasy are called core units. I think it's the keyword to refer to troop choices, or specific kinds of troop choices. So it's kind of interesting.
Then there was a lot of command phase stuff, so they're shifting a lot of it to the command phase.
Yeah.
But all in all, that's all I've got right there. It's a very jam-packed week
Oh
for
yeah.
Warhammer, I'd say. All in all, I look forward to it. October can't get here fast enough to give us all those weapon upgrades for my poor Xenos.
Get some new Necron releases. I need my heavy destroyers. Kind of tired of just not having long range firepower, and I do not like Ghost Arcs enough to get them.
Hey man, you just walk up like the mindless undead that you are, and just zap.
Yeah, but sometimes I want some long range undead to kill some enemy tanks while my undead walk up.
One day we'll get the crusade going.
One day, it'll be cool.
Maybe when your book comes out, options.
The
And
30
we'll
inch
do
foot
that.
range on the Foul Blood Spawn will be fun.
What? It was at 12 inches?
That's
flamer,
30
right?
inches with minimum advance rolls and a warp time.
Ooh.
But I think we're going to call it there for this week's cast. I'd like to thank Greg for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no worries.
Good quote unquote seeing you again, Greg.
I know, long time.
And we're gonna call it there. So we'll see you guys next time.
All right, later, everyone.
Later.
Peace.